Hi all, hope you're well. Don't know which way to wave. So I'm going to show you how to make the moving cubes, which is an origami thing made out of 9 of these that moves around. It's quite cool. I used to do it with my boys, and I used to do it with the home education group I used to run, and they loved it. So what you're going to need is 54 sheets of square paper. This is 4-inch origami paper, but you can just cut up printer paper into squares and use them. A 4-inch square will make a cube this size. I usually make much smaller cubes, but it's a bit harder to show on camera if they're smaller, so I'm making bigger ones. You can make them all match. I just grabbed random sheets of paper to put on there. A later date I might make them match. But what the cube is made up of is 6 of these. This is a Sonobe module. Now, I'm not very good at pronouncing things, so to spell this module is S-O-N-O-B-E. I will write it down in the description because I could be pronouncing this very, very wrong. But basically it's this. I will link to my video that I made at the very beginning of my YouTube channel that shows how to make 2 variations of this, much slower and in detail, and I'll link it in the iCard, wherever that will be, and I'll also link it in the description for you, but I will show how to make them. They just won't be as slow as I went over and explained in the other video. So as I said, you're going to need 6 of these to make 1 cube, and you need 9 cubes, hence 54 sheets of paper. So let's get on with that, shall we? So just take your sheet of paper and you're going to fold it in half. Doesn't really matter which way you fold it in half, whether it's down, forward, you know, it's all in half, it's going to be the same. So just fold whichever way you find easiest. If you find it easier to bring the fold to you, then do that, but I find it easier to go that way. This here I'm using is a boning tool, and it's literally designed to help improve your edges on origami or any other paperwork. It's not necessary to have, you could use a ruler or just use your fingers, but I prefer to use something a little more sturdy that I think just gives a nice crisp edge, because it is important to have crisp edges if you're going to build things like this, because they all slot together. So get back to this, shall we? So we fold it into half, and then we're going to unfold it, and we've created a crease along here, as you can see. And what we're going to do is take these edges into that crease. So I'm just going to take that up to that edge. You can check it straight, because this edge should line up with that one, providing you've cut a even square, which I often don't, which is why I buy a pre-cut origami paper. So we folded that one and turn around, and we're going to now fold this one. So they should meet in the middle, but they should not overlap. So make sure you're not folding too far up, because you don't want them to overlap. So now we've folded both of them, we're actually going to open it back up and turn our paper that way around. And you can see we've now created a crease here and a crease here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this corner, and this edge is going to line up along that crease. You want a nice sharp point on both parts, so good point there, and that should line up against your crease. And then we're going to turn the paper around so we do the opposite corner and do the same thing, line up against that crease we created. Now we're going to just fold both those in, and again I use my tool to make sure those edges are still coming up to nice points. See, so we've got this little flap here and this flap here now. So what we're going to do is take this corner here, and we're going to fold it so it comes down to here. So when we're folding, it should butt up against this strip here and produce a nice point. So we're just going to fold it down. I like to turn my paper to get a better grip on the edge, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Again, it's a personal preference of how you like to turn and use your paper. Ouch. and try not to hit yourself with the boning tool. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same on this one. So this one is folded that way because we've got the flap here now. We're going to fold down again. So it's basically a repeat of the same process. Again, I'm folding from this direction because I just find it easier to fold from this direction. Okay, so now we've got these. Now we need to tuck these corners in. So see where this fold is that we got? We're going to take that corner and we're going to tuck it underneath. I just use that to make sure that corner's open up. There. And then we'll tuck this one in. If you pull that back and lift that up, you can gently curl your paper a little. Just see how curled it's like. And then you can ease it in. And then make sure that corner's up to poke it in fully. Now you have this. What you want to do is turn it over and lay it so your edges are straight down here, because we're going to now fold across this point and take this point up to here. So again, just take your point up to there and use your hand or your tool to give you your nice edge. You're going to turn around and do the same thing, so take this point up to there. There's a lot of repeating in this module, but they all create little pockets that you join the other ones into. That's the point of it. That's not necessary, but I tend to give a little squeeze both ways. I just think it helps them manoeuvre in well. Okay, so that is our first module. Should we do the next ones? So I'm just going to speed through these ones now without saying anything about what to do. You should hopefully be able to work it out. As I said, if you get stuck, just use the video that I've linked that will show you how to do these modules. And if you're not sure what this sort of origami is called, this is called modular origami. And you can use different ones. There's other modules that you can make, and depending on what ones you make depends on the sort of things you can do with it. These snobes can be used for a large variety of origami. I'm just showing you one of them today, and I will show you how to do a star with the other modular origami that I make later on. And I can show you balls and things with this one. I've actually made a this is where you're going to get me, a dodecahedron, I think it's called, with these modules. It was a very big ball, and it's a lot of fun to get together, I'll tell you, but it looks really pretty when it's done. Unfortunately, my children loved it and used it as a ball, and so it's now several pieces. But I will show how to make one at some point if I can find out who owns the copyright to it, to whether I'm actually allowed to show it. But this one's been shown by so many people, I'm pretty sure I'm safe in showing you how to do it. And if I'm not, please tell me you own the copyright and I will take it down. Really make sure you get these crisp edges, because they're going to really help when we're joining everything together. Because believe it or not, a slight millimetre or two off can affect how they fit together. Now obviously it's not the end of the world if they're slightly off. It just takes a little bit of wiggling and manoeuvring to get them to join. Mine are never perfect. Don't think I've ever managed to do one exactly perfect, but it's just easier if you can minimise any problems with it. That's 3. I will fast forward through some of this. You won't have to sit and watch all 54 of them be folded. Well, there's not 54 left now, is there? So I've already done 9, but you know, we're getting there. So is there any other origami you guys are interested in and want to see? Obviously there are some stuff I definitely can't do. There's a book whose author I can't remember the name of right now, but they do some curly Q origami, I think it's called. I can't do them because they are copyrighted and sought, so I'm not going to do something that's new, because the newer the origami, the chances are it belongs to someone you won't do it. Older traditional origami is so well known in the public domain, I'm allowed to show you them. And I think this one is one of the older ones, because it has been around since I was a kid, I think. It's a bit like, do you guys remember ever making the fortune teller, origami fortune tellers? They've been around for so long now that I don't think there's anyone gonna do a copyright claim on that or anything, you know. I actually do have a video of the fortune tellers. If you check out my origami playlist, you should be able to find it in there. So they're great fun to teach your children. Even my children now, with the love of computers and things, still loved my origami stuff. So just because they're into computers don't mean they won't be into origami. Hey guys, right, I've got them all folded and they're ready to be turned into a cube. Now I have already done 7 cubes, I've left 2 left to show you. So you need 6 pieces per cube, so just grab 6 pieces. Now I've done any pieces, I've just grabbed them. I've not done any patterning or anything, complete and utter mix and jumble. You may choose to do a pattern if you like, and some of them can look really awesome with patterns, but I don't. I'm really sorry if I go off screen at all, but I've gone in closer, so hopefully you can see how I'm doing this. So I'll try my best to stay on screen. Okay, so we start with 2 pieces, obviously. We pick a flap. Now what you want to do is make sure when you pick your flap, you don't go in one that's covering another for the first one, because see that one, you've now blocked that one from being used. So what you want to do is turn it around one and go in that one, and there you haven't covered it. So you see the flaps we made, you're just going to poke that one in and under. Try to get the edges flush, and that's actually giving you your first corner look. So then we grab the next one, and what you want to do is try to join one of these flaps to it. So it doesn't matter where you start, but I'm going to just go in here, gone in there, and then we're going to take this flap that's underneath. Can you see it's going under there? It's, if you just hold it, you can see it naturally wants to go to this point, which means you want to put it in this flap. So you just take it and poke it on in. Now you've got to get the angle right so it pokes in, so it can be a little fiddly to start with, but you'll get the hang of it eventually. So now we've got the first part of the cube, we need to build the rest. So again, just grab one, and you want to build so you can see these flaps, they all need to go in one. So this one, remember, don't go in the one that covers that flap. You want one that covers this flap so that it'll be able to go along, because that one wouldn't go along because it's just matching along. Whereas you go into this one, that's covering it. Oop. If you go into this one, if I slide it in there, you'd see that one going there. See, so that one blocks it. It can't be moved. But this one, though obviously it can go on top, that one would actually go in there just fine. So just go into that one. An easy way to remember it is the colours should always be opposite. Now these two by pure coincidence are the same colour. Normally if you're picking 2 random ones it may not work. Like on this one you can see I've always got the blue. This is the one that's lead flat, it's got its things, and these two have been added to it. So this is the one I'm adding to, so that's why it's got 2 pieces, because I'm adding to it. And so that one, and then we're going to fold around, and you can see this one wants to lay here, so you want to go into this flap. Again, it can be a little fiddly, but just have a little patience and don't squash too hard and it will ease in. You just have to gently encourage it. Okay, so now if we get to this point, you can see you've actually got 2 flaps waiting, so it's a good point to put one in to stabilise. Now, the easiest way is, you've got 2 flaps that way, so you want to put 2 flaps that way. So you take your piece and you're just going to go in that one there, this one here. You're just going to pop it in there, and then these 2 flaps, as you can see, want to go naturally on that way. So this one will go in this flap, or pocket, whatever you want to call it. So it'll go in this pocket. And putting the flap in the pocket. Again, it's just a little fiddly until you get the angle, especially as I'm trying to do this on camera. And this one, of course, as you see, wants to go down here, so we put that one in this pocket. And that one's in. So again, the last one that needs to go in, you can see we've got 2. So I want to go into that one, lift 2 flaps over it. And as this is the last piece, put this one in first, so follow it around, and you'll see this one naturally wants to go in there. So just pop it in there, and that's the last piece in place. And so this flap, of course, will be going in here. And this flap will go in here. Then you just want to gently give it a little squeeze all the way around, just to try to make sure everyone's into the pockets as far as they go. The aim is to have no holes for these corners. Now if you're like me, you never fold 100% perfect. Sometimes you do end up with a little hole. Doesn't matter, it's not going to affect it too much if it's just a minuscule. If you've got a gaping big hole, it could be a problem. But as you see, this now is one complete cube. So I'm going to do it again just so I can show you. So this is the last one. So we start with 2, and remember, pick a side with no flap and put the flap into the pocket, and then go on to that one. You just pop it into that one. Again, it's a side with no flap, and then this flap will come over and it will want to lay in that one. If they behave. Okay. Again, you can see here, this has no flap and this one does, so you can go in this one, lift that over, and put that one, down in that flap. Try not to crease the pieces when you're moving them too much, because that will make them harder to stay put. So, you can see, that's 2 flaps there. Oh, I'm out of camera, sorry. So, we put this one in this one here, then lift that flap over and that flap over, and pop that one in there, and this one in here, and we have 2 remaining for the one. So if I can get up really close, hopefully you can see, we're just, if I can hold it, we're just sliding that under that pocket, and then lifting these 2 over, sliding this one, it wants to go into there, into that pocket, again, sorry, and this one wants to go into this pocket, and this one wants to go into this pocket. And I said the last couple can be a little thing, but try not to crease them if you can. And now just gently try to encourage them all in. Again, don't press too hard, because obviously this is paper and it could crumble, not crumble, crush, but sometimes it might take a little extra encouraging. Just use your, so like you can see on this point here, the bend isn't quite in the right place, so just encourage it down gently, and now it's in the right place. Sometimes that's all you need. It just means when you put them in, see, you can see I've not folded that one properly because there's a little hole in it, but you can just gently encourage to a lesser hole. See, so that's not so bad this time. And so that's it. So this is all 9 done. Through there and through there. As I said, I've done no rhyme or reason. A bit close in for you to see, but I think you'll need to close in for a minute. But there you go. How? There you go. So there's your 9, and what we're going to do is we're going to join all these together now. So if we just scoot them out the way, what we'll do is join these 2 first. What you're going to do is you're actually going to pull out one of your flaps. If you can be careful when you pull it out that you don't lift up the flap underneath. You see that, but you don't want to pull that, but you just want to pull the one that you put in. So pull that one gently so it comes out. We want to keep it all secure, so don't pull too hard. We just want that one out. And then pick any one and pull that one out too. Try to see if I can get to one without pulling. There we go. So like that. Okay. Now it helps if you give these ones a little bend backwards at this point, because what we're going to do is we're going to join these by putting this one in the flap that one come out of, and this one in the flap this one came out of, which you can see is there. So you need to turn your cube. See if I can show you this. So this one is going to go in there, and this one is going to go in there. And you want to try to slide them together like that. See? So that one is now joined into this one, and this one is now joined into this one. And that's your first 2 cubes joined together, which we can now manoeuvre like that. And you're going to basically do the same thing all the way along. So we've got these 2 joined on here, so we want the next one to join on here. So I'm going to pull out your flap if you can get to it. Okay, remember, give it a little fold backwards. Pick anywhere on here and pull out a flap without touching the one underneath. Don't want to come out. Once you've got some of them in, they're in there quite snug. They don't like coming back out, I tell you. Okay, so a little twist. And again, so this one will go in here, and this one will go in here. So, can I show you that again? So, that one's poked in there, and that one's poked in there. You just want to gently ease them into place. There we go. So that one now manoeuvres around there. Try to make sure they get in there pretty firmly, and that's your first row completed. So now on to the next row. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. So we grab 3 cubes. It's easier if we set up 3, then 3, then 3, and then start joining them together, I think. You could just join straight onto those 3, but I personally prefer to set them up as 3s first. So let's just grab one there. I'm going to give it a little bend back just so that these are easily removable. This one don't want to. There we go. And then pick one from here. Let's pick a non-yellow one, shall we? Let's go here. Sorry, am I off camera again? I'm not very good when it's up close staying on camera, am I? Okay, so remember, this one will go with this one come, and this one will go in here. So we're just kind of slide them in. Give them a little wiggle if needs be, until they join in. So that one is now joined to that one, and that one is now joined to that one. So next one, remember we need to join on this corner, because we've joined on this corner, we want to join on this corner. So that one. And I'm just sliding them in. So that one is now attached to that one, and that one is now attached to that one. So we now have those 3. See how they can manoeuvre. So that's the next 3. So let's do the last 3. Sometimes it can be fun working out which side's got the flap on it. Right, so line them up. Can you see how that one just lines up on the edge there, and that one lines up on the edge there, so that when you push them together and line it up, they just slide in. Just give them a little bowl to make sure they're moving. And again, we want to do this corner, don't we? So you find which side's the flap, which is this one. And then grab flap from this side and slide it on in. I mean, I've got a lot of green on that one now, but I'm not really fussed. Because, as I said, I'm just doing any random colour for now. I'll probably take this apart and put the colours opposites or something later. But for now, we're just showing you how it's done. So now we have 3 cubes, 3 lines. Sorry, let's come out a bit so you can actually see, shall we? So, there we go. So we have the 9 cubes. So now we need to join these. Now it's basically the same process. You see how we got 3s here? We now need to join them in 3s along there. So, turn it around for ease. And we're going to join on those corners, those corners. So, grab a flap, find the right side, there we go. And then grab whichever flap we need. It's that side. We can get it up without pulling the glue base. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. That one, it gets a little fiddlier here because that one's got to go in there and that one's got to go in there. Can you see that? So that one's going in there, that one's going on the edge there. So can you see? So it's the same process as before. I'm just joining in those 3. So just again, give them a little bend, try to make sure that they're all in properly. Yep. And careful not to have the other ones coming off. This is like you've got to keep an eye on that they stay together and don't start coming apart because it gets a little fiddly. I know some people glue these things in place, but I don't, because proper origami doesn't need glue. If I was selling these, I'd glue them in place because obviously the people buying them is not going to want to have them fall apart on themselves, are they? So we've got these 2 joins, so we're going to join that one to make the 3rd. So these are the corners, so find which one the flap is, which is this one. And then this side. You might find as you're doing it that one of your pieces pops down inside the cube. Just pop it back out again. So that one poked down, I just popped it back out, it's fine. Okay, so we now join those ones. It's time to join this 3 in the camera process. We need to join these ones now. So same process, but again, a little more fiddly. So find the flap, which is this side. Yeah, there we go. And then find the flap, which is this side. As I said, it is a little fiddly. It's just going to take a little fidgeting around, but you'll get there. So don't stress if one keeps popping out from the other side. It's perfectly normal. You just have to keep easing them in until it's done. Once you've got them all joined, you won't be moving them so much. It does become a little more stable, okay? So don't worry. So now to this one. Again, get this flap out. Sorry if I block your view doing this, but obviously there's a limited amount of movability to do this. That one, and then we can get to it. This one. Sometimes just giving a little pull from the top edge in the corner can also encourage it out. This one really wants to stay in. There we go. Okay, so now we have these three joined and these three joined. It's time to join the last line. So careful, those ones don't come unjoined. Just every so often encourage them all back in so they don't come off. And then this one. Again, really sorry that I'm kind of blocking your view on this, but I have to just manoeuvre where I can on it. This one don't want to come out either, hold on. There we go. Out it comes. Flop them around because that's where they go. Okay, so just one more to go. Join this one together. See, some come out reasonably easy, and then some just want to stay where you put them. See, those ones are quite easy. So, slot that one there, that one in there. Okay, so they're now all joined. So, what you want to do now is just kind of gently squish them, try to encourage all of the pieces to go in the right way. It's going to take a little bit of manoeuvring to get these to go the next way so they don't come out, because they do like to move until you've bent them in place. But it will work, you just have to gently encourage it to go. Whoop, that one's come out. Just going to take a little patience to get this done, okay? You just have to be careful. Again, I think it's the same way I just did, but it doesn't matter, because you're just encouraging them. Even flip them over so you're pressing from a different angle if you need to. Okay, so that made me notice that that one's bent a little. Oop, hold on. Right, hey guys, I've been playing with it a little while to work in the bends, and that's finally working. So it takes a little playing to get the paper used to staying put where it is, but you can just glue it. If you wanted to glue, pick the flaps they're going in and just stick some glue underneath the flap here and here and glue it in place. Probably best to do that as you're going along so you know you glued them all though. Okay, so as you see, we've got your cubes here. They're still not perfectly staying in place yet because it's still new, but it gets better as you go. And then you can turn it around and create your new one. So you can have it lined up. Make sure they're not coming out still. So yeah, let's go out a little. Okay, sorry, you can see the tripod leg there, but we go in and in. As you can see, they are slowly starting to go in. So they're just a little bit of fun, you know. Yeah. It's just perseverance to get them to stay in place. But if you're not patient and you want to play with it straight away, use glue or sellotape to just keep them in place. But there we go. So that is how you make the basic moving cube. There are other versions which I will show you at some point. And then See, you see some corners going easier than the other. You just kind of have to keep working it. Some people use plain paper and draw objects on them that makes faces and things. But I like mixing the colours up. See, because even that side is all different colours. Oop, don't play too much, it come off. Let's see. You just have to keep going until they get used to it. They will eventually. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. And you, ooh, 2 secs. Okay, so yeah, just have some, excuse me, try that again, shall we? So just have some fun with it. Mix them up with cubes. You can make them so that like the greens, like this one here, happen to have the 2 different greens on it. I don't know if I've done that sort of thing anywhere else. This one has the green and purple, which go quite nice together because they're both the lighter colours. And actually this one has 2 different colours. So you can pick and choose what you want and just have fun with it. So I hope you enjoy it, and check back soon for more origami goodness. You take care. Bye.